Everyone had a Paul George joke like a few months ago.
Paul George is outside the bubble. I literally see him right now. Come look. Look at him. He's right there.
The media couldn't believe the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead.
How you doing, Skip?
I'm not here.
Yo, you here. You right here. You right
I'm
across
not doing the show.
Well, you know what?
Well, Paul George took that criticism and motivation to help his team. New head coach Tyronn Lue has really helped his team. And now they are sitting in one of the most top positions in the league as of now, currently a top team. And it looks as if Paul George will make them championship favorites this year again. Alright guys, welcome to the Swagger Stud YouTube channel, and in today's video we are talking about the Los Angeles Clippers. But before that, I have a really important announcement to shout out to you. Shout out to all the subscribers who subscribed in the past few months, and we're trying to get to 100 subscribers, because if we get to 100 subscribers by the end of February, I'll be making a channel altering announcement which will really help go to my channel, and you guys could ask me direct questions. So please subscribe, because if you subscribe, you get the reward. You get the big announcement, which changes the channel like completely. So please subscribe. And now let's get back to the video. So as we all know, the Clippers clearly blew a 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets last year, which was probably one of the most embarrassing moments in the franchise history. Obviously, this caused a lot of hate to go towards mainly Paul George, because he severely underperformed in the playoffs last year, calling him all sorts of names such as Pandemic P and stuff like that, like the video showed you at the beginning. But there is no doubt that this year Paul George has shown playoff formula. Generally, he's been a loser wherever he's went, not really having playoff success. But this year, it looks like Paul George has finally turned the bar around, because he's playing great, shooting at the highest efficiency he's ever shown, and a great number two to Kawhi as a great role player and a great team leader as well. And I think he actually will get the playoff success that he needs this year, helping the Clippers win the championship. Let's take a look at some of his numbers this year. Paul George has been averaging 23.9 points per game, 5.4 assists, 6.2 rebounds, but the efficiency is crazy. 51% from the field, 50% from 3, and 91% from the free throw line. I think Paul George will be the 9th member to make the 50-40-90 club, or the 10th, with the other player being Kevin Durant. But nonetheless, that is a great stat, and obviously, Paul George has been playing up to the par this year, succeeding and breaking through many people's expectations from what they had of him last year. I think Paul George is great at using all the criticism he earned last year to use that as motivation and to motivate him through the year. Much like players such as Damian Lillard or something, his defense has always been his defense, always stellar, and my 5 MVP candidates are Kevin Durant, LeBron, Paul George, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic. Obviously, this might be a little stretch for putting him 3rd at the MVP race, but I think Paul George has earned it this year, and I think he will be in the MVP conversation. With the efficiency he's shooting at, there's no doubt about it. But I'm not saying this. I don't think that Paul George should be leading this team on offense. I think the number one should always be Kawhi, and I hope that it always is Kawhi, because obviously Kawhi is much more talented than Paul George and much more versatile. And to be honest, I think Paul George is just more of a weapon to this team. With Paul George, this team is a 66-win team. With Kawhi, it's a 70-win team. With both of them on the floor, it could get pretty deadly. So this team is much more dangerous than the team they were last year. They've added many free agents, such as Nicholas Batum, and the head coach Tyronn Lue has been great this year. We thought he wouldn't really be a good head coach, because the last time he was a head coach on the Cavs, he looked more of a quiet head coach, not a demanding head coach. More like a sort of passive voice. Obviously, Kawhi needs that type of coach, like a coach that will demand him to do something. Tyronn Lue didn't look like that on the Cavaliers. He looked more like he was sort of LeBron's assistant, listening to what LeBron used to say, sort of following LeBron. He looked like LeBron's assistant, to be honest. But now, on the Clippers, he has changed his mentality. I'm pretty sure he loves the organization, and just a few quotes have come out from the Clippers locker room too, showing that they have a very healthy relationship in there. Tyronn Lue says, "I'm not a guy who thinks I know everything. It's good to have dialogue with your players, just see what they think and what their thoughts are." And of course, Paul George also said a recent quote on the Clippers locker room about how their team, "It's fun with this team. It's locked in. We are together. It is one of the best locker rooms I have been around and been in." So obviously, that is a great sign for this Clippers team. It looks like they've gelled together from all the chemistry issues they had last year. But obviously, there are some red flags, like a 50-point loss to the Mavs, blowing a 20-point lead to the Dubs. So obviously, problems always exist with this team. But it looks like they've taken another step towards that championship team that we were hoping to have, that we were hoping to see last year. And hopefully this year we will be able to see that Lakers versus Clippers finals matchup again, because these two teams match up really well. And the key to this, I'm pretty sure, will be Paul George really like playing up to his level, because he really wasn't playing that last year, whether it was because of his injuries, because he got operated on both his shoulders, but he has shown that he can play this year, and I really hope that he can sustain that throughout the season and really help this Clippers team in the future, and hopefully even hang a banner in LA. I'll be making that channel launching announcement. So please subscribe, because if we get to 100 subscribers by February, you know what's going to happen. So please subscribe. Until then, peace out, boys.